Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Jonathan. I'm a spiritual guide, a healer, and a medium. And to my returning subscribers, welcome back, my friends, welcome back. In today's video, I want to talk about why all of a sudden you might have lost your connection with your angels and your guides, with your higher self, with God. Why all of a sudden you feel completely alone on your spiritual journey. I'm going to talk about 3 very specific times during my spiritual awakening that it happened, and I can guarantee you that you will be able to relate with one of those. Let's get started. When it comes to the spiritual awakening process, for myself, when I lost this connection with my angels and my guides these 3 times, it left me feeling very unsettled. It literally removed any sense of security that I had as far as the actions I was taking, as far as the new direction that I was heading towards. And not only this, it made me feel a little bit more empty because I wasn't feeling their love. I wasn't sensing their presence. I wasn't hearing those wonderful words of encouragement. And like I said, this happened 3 times during my spiritual awakening, literally within a 6-month time span. Because the first time was in September of 2018, then in December 2018, and then the 3rd time and last was in April 2019. And I'm going to talk exactly about what went on, what happened, and why it occurred, and how I managed to get this connection back. And the first time, just to really set the scene for you guys. When I initially had my spiritual awakening, I was on workers' compensation. I had torn 2 out of my 3 ligaments in my left ankle, and I literally couldn't walk around. I was doing physiotherapy and all that stuff at least 3 times a week, but nothing was getting any better. But then all of a sudden, here with the way the system works, is all of a sudden, the doctor from the workers' comp, you have to go see them, and they decide whether or not you're fit to go back to work or not. And then all of a sudden, they decided I was fit to go back to work. And I'd been using all this time to work on myself, been using all this time to take in knowledge, to practice, to amplify my spiritual gifts, you know what I mean? Really starting to take care of myself as far as really discovering exactly which path I want to take, exactly how is it that I want to move forward. But now I was forced to go back to work. And I'm going to be honest with you, as far as the job that I had, I absolutely hated it prior to my awakening. It was a job that I no longer enjoy doing. It was basically a truck driver for petroleum products, delivering gas, furnace, oil, diesel, all those things. It was just a job that I absolutely hated. I no longer resonated with this job. But then now I was forced back into work. Workers' comp was cutting me off. That was it. I had to go back into the workforce. I had to start earning again. And I went into work. And I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't last a week. The first day I went into work, the first morning, as I stepped into my truck, that negative, evil energy just hit me like you would not believe. Because when I was working at this place, I was going through a very deep level depression. Therefore, this is the stagnant energy that was still in the truck when I went back to work. And it affected me greatly. I literally, after my first day at work, I felt completely drained, completely unmotivated. All of a sudden, that inner happiness that I had built up over the past year was just diminishing in a matter of minutes. And then the second day, I went back into work. And this went on for 4 days. Finally, on my 4th day, as I was starting to do my deliveries, I just couldn't take it. I was getting triggered. All of a sudden, everything was just making me pissed off, you know what I mean? It was literally bringing back the shadow aspect of myself. It was really bringing out the worst within me. I was getting pissed off where for the past year, I couldn't remember the last time I actually got angry at something, and all of a sudden I was getting triggered by everything. It's just this evil energy. I could just feel it. It was literally eating away at me. Literally. Oh, this happened on the Thursday. Went back to work on the Monday. On the Thursday, pulled over. I said, fuck it. That is it. I am quitting this job. I don't care if I don't have anything as far as backup. I couldn't care less. I cannot keep doing this. Because during that week, during those 4 days, I was losing that connection I had with my angels and my guides. I was no longer feeling their love. I was no longer feeling their presence. I was no longer receiving that guidance. And for me, it was a sense of security. Because as you're going through the spiritual awakening process, you are literally alone. It's very rare at the first, especially the first 6 months, the first year. It's extremely rare that you'll even meet someone or be able to open up to someone. About 5% of what you're going through. Most people can't understand what you're going through. Therefore, this connection I had built up through, doing meditation, through opening up to them more and more, all of a sudden diminished to nothing. So I quit this job. I had literally no idea how I was going to earn a living. I had no idea as far as what was I going to do to bring forth the money that I needed to survive. But it was more powerful than me. I couldn't take it. Literally, I at that moment when I was sitting in my truck, and then I just feeling all this anger, just feeling all this pissed off and just saddened state of being. It's like I'd much rather be living on the street right now than be sitting in this truck trying to support myself. And it didn't happen immediately. As far as this connection, gaining it back, it took a while. It took 4 or 5 days afterwards, because this little sequence, those 4 days of going into work with this job that I hated, drained me completely. It literally took me about a week and a half to get my energy back up, get back to doing the spiritual practices that I enjoy, started to get myself back out in nature. And even though at first I wasn't feeling their presence, even though at first I wasn't feeling that love within my heart, that incredible energy, I still continued to open up to them about what I was going through, still continued to ask for what I needed. And then all of a sudden, as I was able to re-raise my vibrations back up, that's when I started to feel their connection. Because as far as the connection you sense with them, the happier inside, the more self-love you have, the more confidence you have, the more excitement you're bringing out as far as your childlike excitement, having fun. The more of those high vibes, emotions you're able to bring out, the more you're going to sense them. And right now is look around. Is there a lot of individuals who are bringing you down? When you go into work at the office, I can guarantee you 1 out of 4 person right now is dealing with the depression. Therefore, you're taking in their vibrational frequency, whether you're aware of it or not, and you're giving away some of yours. So really look after as far as who is around you, and really listen to your intuition as far as who you should help and who you should let go of. And the second time this happened, I'm going to be honest with you, I was completely naive as far as the law of attraction. For me, spirituality, when I had my awakening, it wasn't like I was aware of anything. I knew tarot card readers, little bits and pieces. Law of attraction a bit. I had seen the movie The Secret, which kind of depicts it what it is, but really at a basic level. But now I was starting to use the law of attraction. Figured, okay, I just lost my job. Well, now it's time to find the job of my dreams. And I wasn't aware that I could make a career out of having a spiritually based business at the time. So I actually did this. I had my angel altar. I wrote down, how was it? I'm so glad, happy, and blessed to have this job as a car salesman. Therefore, it's giving me the funds necessary in order to be able to help others who are going through their spiritual awakening. It was a long phrase, but that's the phrase that I placed on my angel altar as far as this is the manifestation that I wanted to have come forth. And all of a sudden, I started to look. I went around every single car dealership in Quebec here, around where I live, within a 30-40 kilometer radius. Went all the places. It was about at least 30 dealerships. And there was one in particular that I wanted to work because I like those types of cars and I like the atmosphere. It wasn't some of the car dealerships, they're really dog-eat-dog, they'll do whatever they can to sell you the car. And these people, it was a dealership out in the country, therefore they were much more relaxed. It was just a much more pleasant atmosphere. So each day I was meditating on this. Each day I was envisioning working there, putting on my suit, going there, being, a car salesman, and then being able to have the funds necessary to start helping people as far as spirituality. I went through 2 interviews. Everything was looking great. It was looking as if I was going to get this job. And then all of a sudden it came time to have an interview with the district manager, not just the manager, but the district manager, the regional manager. But then all of a sudden the employee that I was supposed to cover for, that was going to be taking his retirement, decided that he was no longer retiring. Therefore, all of a sudden this fell through. And this was basically a 1 month process, you know what I mean? This is getting out there, putting out all the resumes, taking the phone calls, doing the interviews, and had a couple interviews with this company. And then I was figuring it was a locked deal. It was the regional manager that had to approve it. But then all of a sudden it got shut down. All of a sudden my manifestation was no longer coming forth. Right before Christmas, this was like December the 10th or December the 14th. And all of a sudden it felt like all my dreams got crushed once more. Vibrations just came crashing down. All of a sudden, I stepped back into my old self as far as that self-pity. And I started looking, why world, why universe, why God are you doing this to me? Haven't I done enough work? Haven't I created enough changes, enough positive changes to start to attract what I need? And once more, this lasted again for at least a week or a couple of weeks, because I was falling into this victim mentality. I was falling back to how I used to be previously as far as self-pity. Nothing good ever happens to me. Well, guess what? I was putting that out there. Therefore, that's what I was getting back. But once more, it recentered, it refocused myself back onto what I was really passionate about, even though I wasn't aware of it. And it was just spirituality was what I was passionate about. It was just now trying to figure out how a creative outlet, how was I going to present this to the world? So once more, I found myself without a job. But guess what? I was able to start to manifest the abundance, started to manifest the resources that I needed in order to continue learning, in order to continue practicing, in order to continue to progress on my journey. And now the third time that this happened, if I'm being honest with you, I knew exactly what actions I needed to take. For a long time, I knew exactly what actions I needed to take. But there was still fear. There was still some fear coming out of me. Because once you start to peel back all the layers and you start to do all this inner work, and then you finally discover when you want to start to move forward, sometimes certain things from your past, it could be from your childhood, it could be from your teenage years, the beginning of your adult years, all of a sudden starts creeping back up. And for me, it was the fear of being judged by others. I look back in high school, how I was bullied in high school. But now that I've done this, I realize exactly what I was doing to cause this in my reality. But at the time, I didn't understand, because you're going to see, as far as spiritual journey, I don't care how ahead you think you are right now, you're always going to be learning things at a deeper level. You're always going to be expanding your consciousness, raising up as far as your level of vibrational frequency. It's a non-stop learning experience. And at the time, all this fear was coming up because I was starting to compare myself with other individuals in the same field. But there was nothing to compare myself with, because as far as the service that I was providing, as far as what I was going to create, it was my vibrational frequency that I was going to start to attract the individuals that needed it. Therefore, at that moment, once again, it was just a short period of time, but I lost that connection. All of a sudden, I was asking for guidance. What is my next step? What should I do as my next step? But I lost that guidance because I already knew exactly what actions that I was supposed to take. And it was now time to start to take action, because after a certain point, what's going to end up happening is, after a certain point, whether you believe in source, in God, whatever is your higher belief, at a certain point, you have to put your faith in this higher belief. You have to start trusting it. You have to start to step out of your comfort zone. You have to start taking action, really not knowing what the end results are going to be, but just trusting. And for me, that was the last time that literally I lost this connection, because ever since then, I've been acting on that guidance. Ever since then, I became braver, and I'm stepping out of my comfort zone more and more. And as you begin to do this, start with small steps. Okay, don't You don't have to take a big, massive quantum leap right away, but start expanding that comfort zone. Start setting some time as far as in your day. How are you able to invest in yourself? Because you're right now, it might not appear like this, okay? Think of it this way. If money never existed, or else, not even if money never existed, if your level of success didn't depend on your bank account, but it depended on your vibrational frequency, how much time would you invest on yourself? How much time would you make sure to be spending to become the best version of yourself, to create more and more inner happiness, to create more and more self-love, more confidence? You would be investing a lot more than you think. And that is the truth right now. That's exactly how it is. It's manifest from within first. Invest in yourself first, and it will automatically become your reality. It's just like I've said before. It's when you're going through the spiritual awakening process, you go through such a drastic change as far as shift in your vibrational frequency in such a short period of time. There's no way your reality is able to match it. You know what I mean? You spike up, but then you level off a bit, and then you start to go up more gradually. And that's why it's extremely important to start setting some time each and every single day. Don't make spirituality like a part-time job. What I mean about is an example. Let's say if you were religious and the only time you ever spend as far as worshiping God, as an example, is on Sundays when you go to Mass. You have the whole rest of the week where you could be strengthening this connection. And that's what I'm talking about, is each and every single day, in whichever way you see fit. There's no way that's locked in as far as this is how you are to create this connection with God and your angels. No, any way you see fit. But starting to invest that time, starting to spend more and more time seeing how you're able to amplify up this connection, because you're going to notice after a while the amount of inner peace, security, love, joy, and bliss that you're going to feel is going to give you that courage that you need in order to start heading towards a completely new direction. You're stepping into the unknown like you've never done before. And as far as individuals around you, it's really important to pay attention. As far as your intuition, what's your intuition telling you about how this person is feeling? What is their vibrational frequency? And if you have to, sometimes take a step back and just listen. You don't always have to open up and then all of a sudden you get in this conversation that's just going to leave you feeling drained. Sometimes let someone speak their opinion and that's it. Okay, just agree with them and that's it. Because you're not always meant to be teaching others. You're not always meant to be giving this energy away. Not until a certain point. I'm going to be real honest with you. You have to get a lot of inner work done. You have to discover a lot about yourself as far as at a soul level before you're able to maintain your high vibrational frequency and not let people drain you of your energy. And it's not to say that I don't have certain situations sometimes that leave me feeling drained, but it's very few and far in between. So seldomly that I don't even remember the last time that I was triggered, that I had this anger come up, or else all of a sudden I felt this massive dip as far as my vibrational frequency. Last time, I'll be honest with you, was probably one Sunday where I decided to research the entire day as far as the elitists, exactly the plan, as far as exactly what it is that they're doing. But I was already aware of this. I caused more harm than good because that day I didn't learn anything, but my vibrational frequency really dipped drastically. It took me 3-4 days to get myself feeling good again. And that's why now I just focus on my immediate reality. I just focus here. Who cares what's happening? Example, Montreal is like half an hour away from here. Who cares? I don't care. I'm not going over there. It's not my problem. As far as right now, it's really focusing in on your immediate surroundings and those that you love and see how is it that you're able to help, but not at the compromise of drastically dropping your vibrational frequencies. Sometimes you have to start setting those boundaries. If you do, you do. An example, you come home from work and you're feeling all drained, and normally you would right away cook supper for the children as an example. Tell the kids, go watch something, go play for a bit. I need half an hour of alone time. Go in your bedroom as an example and do a half an hour meditation, or just laying there and just relaxing, letting that stress melt away, letting those negative emotions come out if necessary, and re-raising back up your vibrational frequency. But as far as this connection, it all depends on how much time you're willing to invest. And I'm not saying 8 hours a day. I'm not saying this whatsoever. But it's just certain moments during your day when you're alone, when you know that you can open up to them. Take that time in order to open up to them and see how is it they can help you. See what divine downloads you're going to receive, because you will start to receive little glimpse as far as here's the action you should be taking. Here's the way that you should be perceiving a certain situation that's currently happening in your reality. Because oftentimes this happens. You ask for a manifestation unknowingly, you're not realizing I have to give something up. I want to bring forth this manifestation, but I have to give something up to allow the room in my life as far as bringing this forth. And then all of a sudden something gets taken away. Whoa, what's going on? I want to manifest, but something gets taken away. Now's that time to continue to raise your level of faith, your knowing, continuing to put that focus on your vibrational frequency, because you're amplifying the manifestation that's going to come forth. And you'll see after you've gone through this once or twice, you're able to flow like water, literally. I've had so many people during my awakening, I was going through a situation where they would be freaking out. They're like, how can you be so calm? How can you be so zen? Because I know that I'm divinely guided and protected, just like you are. To really make it a point each day to strengthen this connection. Make it a point each day to start taking a little bit of action as far as the guidance that you're receiving. And be kind with yourself. Don't be hard with yourself. If things aren't quite working out exactly how you want in your reality, remember, you have to shift within yourself first. You have to create inner changes, and it is going to reflect out in your reality. But there's a bit of lag at first. And if you're able to get yourself out in nature, if you're able to get in your body of water, even better. I love coming here just for the sound, just to be able to hear the water flowing. It's extremely relaxing. And as you start to relax, you're going to see that guidance is going to become clearer and clearer, and that intuition is going to heighten up. Well, that's going to do it for today's video. I love you guys. You guys have an awesome day. Namaste.